Hello viewers, you're watching Afghanistan Report and I'm your host Swati Kundra. The main stories are: China-Afghanistan call on Taliban to join peace talks. Pakistan Army says deadly university attack controlled from Afghanistan. And Afghan teachers visit India for training on science projects. Efforts are on to bring the Taliban on the negotiating table and thus establish durable peace in Afghanistan. Recently, Afghan Foreign Minister Salahuddin Rabbani visited Beijing and held a meeting with his Chinese counterpart to pave the way for peace talks with the Taliban. We have a report.
Afghan Foreign Minister Salahuddin Rabbani met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in Beijing. Both leaders pledged to enhance bilateral counter-terror cooperation. Wang said China and Afghanistan had agreed to enhance counter-terror cooperation, noting the two countries should further increase high-level communications.
阿巴中美四方协调机制的建立，它的目的是为阿富汗政府同塔利班重启和谈来创造必要的外部条件。我们也期待四方协调组继续努力。
Taliban forces have stepped up their campaign in the last 1 year to topple the Kabul government, which has struggled since most foreign troops left at the end of 2014. High-profile suicide attacks and Taliban territorial gains in Helmand province have underlined how far Afghanistan remains from peace. The Taliban, who now control more territory than at any time since they were ousted by a US-led intervention in 2001, did not take part in the talks. Afghan Foreign Minister Rabbani called on them to enter into a dialogue with the government.
We have also called on all members of Taliban groups to come to the negotiating table as we see the solution of the Afghan problem can only be solved through peace and negotiation, and there is no military solution.
The ultimate goal of the diplomatic maneuvering is to get representatives of the Afghan government and the Taliban into direct negotiations.
To talk more on peace talks initiatives, we are now joined by Ashish Shukla, a research assistant at Institute for Defense Studies and Analysis. Welcome to the show. China and the United States are mounting pressure on Afghanistan to hold peace talks with the Taliban. What is the possibility now in the present situation?
First, one should understand the difficulty of this dialogue between Taliban and Afghan government. The Afghan Taliban are very much clear that they are going to be Amirul Mominin. An Islamic state or Islamic system will be implemented if they are in power. And on the other hand, we see Afghan government which is constitutional, and it is not going to cede so much space as desired by the Taliban on that count. So that is the fundamental problem that is not going to be addressed with this kind of peace talks. The other important point is that as far as mounting pressure on Afghanistan is concerned, China and United States should focus on Pakistan, because Pakistan in a major way controls or coordinates with Afghan Taliban on these issues. Until and unless they are very much sure, I mean the Pakistanis are very much sure that they want really an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned process, this is not going to succeed.
How important will be the role of the Quadrilateral Coordination Group, which includes China, Pakistan and the United States, in bringing the Taliban to the negotiating table?
As I said earlier, if China and United States are very much concerned about this, they should try to convince Pakistan of the things. What Pakistan has to do, they should be very clear. Until and unless, I again say that until and unless Pakistan agrees on certain points, Pakistan is ready to give the kind of leverage Afghanistan needs, this is not going to work. So China and United States both should try to convince Pakistan, especially the security establishment which controls the Pakistan's Afghanistan policy, to that extent.
Well, the security situation in Afghanistan continues to remain grim. Do you foresee any change in the Taliban's behavior after peace talks initiative?
You see, Taliban itself is a divide house. I mean, there are various factions at the moment. There are some factions who might come on the talking table, on the dialogue table, but there are others, more radical factions who are really opposed. Those who are really opposed to these talks, they are not going to, I mean, stop their activities inside Afghanistan. So in that sense, I do not see that the situation is going to improve any further. You all the time you hear the news that they have conducted these operations there, and recently we have also we are seeing that how I mean former Taliban commanders are in a way joining IS, and that is also creating a complicated situation in Afghanistan.
How can India play its role in maintaining peace and development in Afghanistan?
India's role in Afghanistan is a bit limited because of the geographical constraints. So we should better focus with the Afghan government on various developmental aspects, which we are already doing, and we should not get involved in the kind of security dealings the way I mean people think that India should do.
Thank you, Ashish, for sharing your views. As efforts are high to bring Taliban to negotiating table, Pakistani army recently said 4 gunmen who attacked Bacha Khan University in Sharsada were trained and controlled from inside Afghanistan. A report.
In a briefing to reporters, military spokesman General Asim Bajwa said the militants who stormed the university, killing at least 20 people, received training in Afghanistan and crossed over into Pakistan from the Torkham border between the two countries. Bajwa said the attack was masterminded by Umar Mansoor, a Pakistani Taliban militant based in Afghanistan, who is also held responsible for the December 2014 massacre of 134 children in the city of Peshawar, the deadliest militant attack in Pakistan's history.
ये अटैक अफगानिस्तान के एक इलाके से कंट्रोल हो रहा था। उसके बाद आज मैंने ये ज़रूरी समझा वो तमाम जितनी भी कॉलें थीं, तकरीबन 10 कॉलें उसने की, उनके बीच में से एक कॉल का मैं वॉइस क्लिप आपको सुनाऊंगा, और जिस नंबर से अफ़गानिस्तान की जिस सिम से वो कॉल हो रही थी वो नंबर भी उसके नीचे लिखा होगा।
The audio in Pashto with Urdu translation said, "There are 4 and we are in contact with them. Our comrades will release a video soon with an explanatory statement in it." On January 22, Umar Mansoor, the mastermind identified by the Pakistan military, released video footage of the fighters he said carried out the deadly assault and vowed more attacks on schools and universities in the future. Pakistani officials say the Pakistan Taliban chief known as Mullah Fazlullah has been orchestrating raids on Pakistan from Afghanistan, where he fled several years ago after a Pakistani army offensive against a stronghold in the Swat Valley. Providing details of the planning of the attack, the military spokesman said the gunmen used public transportation from the Afghan border to reach Mardan city, about 30 kilometers from Charseda, where they were received by 4 Pakistani men now in army custody.
ये जो टेररिस्ट ए है उसने उनको तोरखम के पॉइंट से उनको लिया, पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट में मर्दान के इलाके में लाया और यहाँ पर आके उनको रिसीव किया ये आदिल ने, जो कि ये आप देख रहे हैं, उसकी तस्वीर भी मैंने साथ लगाई है, और रियाज ने। और ये मर्दान चारसदा रोड है, इसमें ये 2 घर हैं जिनका इंतखाब किया इन्होंने, और इन दोनों घरों में ही इनको रखा गया।
Pakistan has killed and arrested hundreds of suspected militants under a major crackdown launched after December 2014 school attack, which is seen as having hardened Pakistan's resolve to fight militants along its border with Afghanistan.
Moving on, a young boy in Afghanistan has become a media sensation after photographs of his makeshift soccer jersey made out of a plastic bag went viral on the internet. Murtaza Ahmadi had been asking his family for a team jersey of his favorite soccer player, Barcelona's Lionel Messi, for some time, but his father, Arif Ahmadi, said such a present was outside the means for the family living in rural Ghazni province. So Murtaza and his siblings made their own. The photographs shared by the family show a happy Murtaza showing off his creation, complete with Messi and the player's team number 10 emblazoned on the front and the back. Scores of students and teachers from Afghanistan are currently in India in a bid to enhance their skills and are being facilitated by various government and non-government organizations recently. A team of 12 teachers from Afghanistan's Baghlan province underwent a special training session on science experiments in New Delhi. Take a look.
Recently, a team of 12 teachers from the Teachers Training School in Baghlan province visited New Delhi and attended a science workshop. The workshop was organized by the iCube Science Club, where the visiting teachers learned how science experiments could be conducted in an uncomplicated manner.
تعداد زیاد تجارب در طول 9 روز آموزش دیدیم با برای استادایی که 9 نفر استادی که از تربیه معلم آمده، از تربیه معلم افغانستان. ما بسیار تجارب زیاد را آموختیم. از جمله شما باز تجارب را که بالفعل همینجا دیدین ما اینا انجام دادیم، خود ما از این نمونه از تجارب بود. ما در حدود 30 یا 40 تجربه را ما بیشتر از 40 تجربه را ما در اینجا انجام دادیم در طول این قدر روز که بسیار تجارب خوب برای اطفال که در مکاتب افغانستان هستند، بخصوص برای مکاتب ابتدایی و مکاتب دوره متوسط. این بسیار حالت خوب است برای اونا، چرا اونا ضرورت به دارن. ساینس مادر علوم است و به او خاطر تجارب ساینس برای اطفال ما بسیار زیاد ضروری و لازمی است که اونا هم از این تجارب مستفید شوند. ما می‌خوایم که اینمی چیزایی را که یاد گرفتیم با کمک از دوستای ما میره انتقال بدیم با شاگردای خود در مکاتب افغانستان.
iCube Science Club is a social venture that trains teachers in urban and rural areas in India. The club is run by 3 young students. Visiting Afghan teachers learned various science experiments that are used in day-to-day science. Teachers were happy to attend the workshop and acknowledged the support and encouragement provided by their Indian partners to develop scientific temper among young Afghan students.
Right now we have a close relationship together. It's not started now, it's back to too many years that we have close relationship together. So hopefully we have worked together in science part as well. As right now a lot of Afghan students they are studying in universities in India.
Both India and Afghanistan share a long history of culture, tradition, and close people-to-people contacts. And initiatives like these will not only help young Afghans to learn new skills, but will also boost bilateral ties.
With that, we come to the end of this week's episode of Afghanistan Report. I'm Swati Kuntwa taking your leave. We'll be back next week with more news and views from Afghanistan. Goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.